What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ Today. In this video, we're going to be restarting our draft profile series, and we're going to be kicking it off with the top 5 interior offensive linemen that are available in the 2021 NFL Draft. We know we have a dire need to address this position, so let's talk about some of the guys that Joe Douglas might be getting a little bit chubby for. Let's get after it. As always, I just want to make sure it's very clear here. I am not a professional scout. I don't do this for a living. So this is truly just a fan's perspective. So when you see me analyzing these players, talking about these players, if you have a different perspective or an opinion on any of them, you just need to let me know in the comments. I'm all ears. I'm happy to have a discussion, and I'm happy to learn more because, again, there's people out there who know more than me. And again, just having a different idea is always welcome on this channel. So again, let me know in the comments if you guys see things differently than I do in this video. And just as we start, I want to make sure that it's very clear to you that none of these players are in order. So they do have a number attached to them. That is just the number that was assigned to them by PFF. I'm going to form my own opinion on them, but I'll do that at the end of the video. So the first player is going to be right tackle Jalen Mayfield from Michigan. This is a player in his sophomore year, started all 13 games at right tackle and was very good. So it says here he was named the Wolverines starting right tackle going into his sophomore year and was named honorable mention all Big Ten Conference after starting all 13 of Michigan's games. So he was healthy for all of the season, and he was consistent and playing at a very high level in college football. So he did in 2020 opt out and then did later opt back in. He played only, I think, 2 or 3 games in his junior season. So it's something that we have to consider when we're looking at the player. He has not played, a lot of football in the last year or so. But again, according to PFF, he says Mayfield's allure is all about what he can become. His high-end plays are as impressive as any other offensive lineman in the draft class. The 6'5", 325-pound junior possesses some serious explosiveness all throughout his frame. He can not only run with guys with a strong lower half, but he can also toss them out of the hole with his upper body. So this is not a finesse kind of blocker. This is a guy that can get after you and can really throw you around and move people. And these are the kind of players that Joe Douglas likes at the offensive line. So it's worth noting that he did start at right tackle in college football. But I don't think that this is a player that would have a hard time transitioning to guard at the NFL level. I could see this being a really nice move for him, and I think that he would be really strong on the interior. I don't think that size is a problem for him, and I don't think that strength is an issue for him as well. The only thing I really worry about does he have enough college experience, and did he play enough on the offensive line to be able to make this move to the guard position. I do think that he has the raw skills, and it's just a matter of whether or not Joe Douglas thinks he's a good fit for the scheme, which I think he is, and also is he going to be able to transition to that interior offensive line position. The next player on this list is going to be center Humphrey from Oklahoma. This is a guy that a lot of fans from NFL teams are very interested in the NFL draft. A lot of teams would love to see him be their center of the future or even potentially a guard. He did start at center his entire career in college, so I don't think it's a stretch to say that he should be drafted as a center. But I also think in that same breath that you could move him to guard. I don't think that he would have some major transition or development that would need to take place in order to do this. So according to PFF, they said Humphrey has been one of the most consistent centers in the country for the past 3 years. He's allowed only 28 pressures over that span on nearly 1,300 pass blocking snaps. So when you're looking at Humphrey, he looks like one of those dudes that's just like a throwback run blocker. He's just going to knock your socks off in the run game. But this is a complete football player, complete offensive lineman, and I think Joe Douglas is going to get really excited about the prospect of having somebody like this on the offensive line, somebody that is versatile, somebody that is going to be able to be athletic and move as a center. He's not going to just be a enormous man in the middle blocking for the run game. This is a guy who can do a little bit of everything. So it says he boasts a versatile body type for the interior at 6'5", 320 pounds, and isn't likely limited to only be a center at the next level. And this is kind of why I included him in the video. I feel like if the New York Jets decided, hey, we need to get Creed Humphrey in the draft and we need to plug him in at center and move Connor McGovern to guard, absolutely, hell yes, let's do it. If the New York Jets decided to say, okay, we're going to draft Creed Humphrey, we're going to let him play guard at the NFL, he's big enough, he's versatile enough, let's go ahead and do that. I say hell yes as well. I think that this is the move to make. And maybe perhaps this guy is going to be one of those players that rises as we get closer to the NFL draft, because teams are going to see not only is he so versatile, he's an explosive player. He's an explosive blocker. So it says when Humphrey gets his hand placement down, he's not letting go. He flashes some of the best hand usage in the draft class, and it's why he excelled in pass protection over his career. In other videos, I've talked about the need for the New York Jets to really solidify the interior offensive line and to be able to form a pocket for our quarterback, no matter who it is. And I think that Creed Humphrey would absolutely be a strong candidate to do so. In 2018, he was a second-team All-Big 12 selection. Same thing in 2019, a second-team All-American by the AP. And then third-team AP All-American in 2020. So consistency, and really good football play is what you're getting when you take Creed Humphrey. The next player we're going to discuss in this video is going to be Landon Dickerson from Alabama. So I'm just going to go right to the PFF clip here. It says Dickerson is going to come with some serious medical red flags. He tore his ACL as a freshman at Florida State, had an ankle injury that caused him to miss 9 games as a sophomore, and then tore his ACL in his right knee, again in the SEC title game this season. So when you're looking at Landon Dickerson, you're not just looking at a guy that's injured. You're looking at a guy who is consistently injured, and it's serious injuries. It's not nicks and bruises that you typically see with players in the NFL. They do get hurt at the NFL level, but you don't want to see these serious injuries. And this guy is constantly injured. So it's a serious problem. But, however, it does say if it weren't for those serious injury history, for the serious injury history, Dickerson may very well be the top interior offensive lineman in this class. He plays with unmatched physicality that is almost comical to watch on tape. The pleasure that he takes in destroying defenders is a joy to watch. So this is a guy that's not just pushing people around, bullying them. He is absolutely driving them to the ground, kind of like what we saw with Mehki Becton in his rookie year, just absolutely pancaking dudes. And so do I think that Joe Douglas would love to have this kind of player that's physical and just going to absolutely destroy people? Yes. Is he going to love seeing all of these injuries? And I think there's absolutely reason to really pause and to think about this guy. So if you're asking me, if I'm the general manager of the New York Jets, I'm passing on this guy until much later in the draft. And maybe that's the allure with this kind of guy. We saw Bryce Hall fall in the draft to the 5th round. You know, we could potentially see a slide for this guy due to his medical history. And so, you know, if he's sitting around in the 5th and 6th rounds, why the hell not? Why not take a flyer on this guy? Maybe he gets healthy. Maybe he just needs to be in an NFL program and needs to learn how to take better care of his body and to prevent these injuries. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about him and Mehki Becton maybe lining up together at the next level. That would be an awesome thing to watch, and to see two bullies bullying defenders all day and all game long would just be a joy to watch. The next player we're going to discuss in this video is going to be guard Wyatt Davis from Ohio State University. There are some really interesting tidbits about him that I'll get to in this segment. But first, we're just going to start with this. It says it wasn't quite the leap to dominance we were hoping for, but Davis was still arguably the best pass protecting guard in the country. His 11 pressures allowed don't do him justice, as almost all of them came against unblocked blitzes or stunts. When he went one-on-one with 3 techniques, there was no one better, which is a wonderful thing to read. This is a guy that can handle his job assignment one-on-one. He's going to do his job and block them very well. He boasts a do-it-all body type at 6'4", 315 pounds to run any scheme or assignment that you could want. So this is a guy that's going to fit in for years to come. It doesn't matter if we change schemes. It doesn't matter if our offensive coordinator gets hired as a head coach later down the road. This is a guy that will be able to transition to any type of offense. And one of the things that I really love about Wyatt Davis is he's been a guard in his college career. He's not transitioning from right tackle. He's not going to potentially transition from the center position. This is a guy that you could draft early and confidently start him in the early part of his first season, if not right away in week one. Some things that stuck out to me. So it says that as a redshirt sophomore, Davis was named first team All Big Ten Conference and a first team All-American by the AP and the Sporting News. Davis was named to the Big Ten Network's second team All-Decade team for the 2010s. Davis was named a preseason first team All-American by Walter Camp and the Associated Press, entering his redshirt junior season. Following the announcement that the Big Ten would postpone the 2020 season, Davis announced that he would opt out of the season, but later opted back in when the conference reversed its decision. This is also a guy that has an NFL pedigree in his family. So Willie Davis, NFL Hall of Famer, is his grandfather, I believe. Yeah, grandfather. And he's the grandson to Willie Davis, Hall of Famer. So this is a guy that has it in his blood. He is born to do this, I think. And I think that the New York Jets would just be absolutely in a much, much better position if they landed Wyatt Davis in the NFL draft. The final player that we're going to be discussing in this video is going to be Elijah Vera-Tucker, offensive lineman from USC. Vera-Tucker is about as steady as it gets along the offensive line. It's rare to see him overextend or put himself in bad positions when approaching blocks. While his people-moving ability isn't exceptional in comparison to the rest of the class, it's what he can do in space and in his pass sets that give him the top spot. So something that kind of sticks out to me is he's not a huge people mover, which means he's not going to be able to have an immediate or tremendous impact in the running game. This is not going to be a guy that's going to maul people necessarily, and that might be a turnoff for Joe Douglas. Having said that, though, there is still things about his game that I think Joe Douglas will be very interested in. It's also a big plus that we've seen him produce at both left guard and left tackle. This is something that Joe Douglas will like. The fact that he has played at multiple positions in college football, he offers some really interesting versatility, and I'll be getting to that in just a few seconds. It says that it was his work this past year at left tackle that really solidified his status in our eyes, as he allowed 8 pressures on only 305 pass blocking snaps all season, the majority of which came at the hands of likely top 10 pick in 2022, Kayvon Thibodeaux. While he's likely still a guard, that's versatility is nice to have. I personally see him more as a tackle. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But I think that if he's not such a tremendous people mover, I think that he would be potentially out of position at guard, and I think that I would rather see him at the tackle spot. But having said that, though, if Joe Douglas decides to take him, if he's available at 23, which I'm not really sure he will be available, but let's just say he was available, Joe Douglas might be excited about the opportunity to potentially start him at guard and then push him out to right tackle once we move on from him. So there's a lot of different interesting options with Elijah Vera-Tucker if we were to select him in the NFL draft. The potential to maybe kind of reshuffle the offensive line for the next few years. I think that versatility and his really great pass blocking is very, very attractive for this New York Jets needs. So now that we've gone through the players in this video, we're going to now just very quickly go through how I kind of see this group of players as far as interior offensive linemen. I do think there's a lot of really interesting players and a lot of attractive options. I think that if the New York Jets are looking to address this position like they should be, the players that I'm most interested in are center Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma, Jalen Mayfield, the right tackle from Michigan, and then also guard Wyatt Davis from Ohio State University. These are the guys that I would love to see line up in the inside for the New York Jets. I think that they offer stability. They've proven that they can stay healthy. And I think for the most part, these guys could be plug-and-play guys. The only one that I wonder a little bit about would be Jalen Mayfield. I'm not 100% sure he's ready for that transition and to play right away. But he has tremendous potential at that position, and I think that he would really do nicely with a Connor McGovern next to him, with a Mehki Becton next to him. I just think that he needs time to maybe develop a little bit more than the other two players. Having said that, though, my favorite player as far as the interior offensive line probably goes to Wyatt Davis. Again, I'm looking for a guard in this draft. Having said that, though, there is no reason why Creed Humphrey should not be considered one of the best interior offensive linemen in this draft. And if the New York Jets decide, hey, let's go ahead and get our center for the next decade. Let's go ahead and get our next Nick Mangold. Let's go get our next Kevin Mawai. I don't see any reason why the Jets should hesitate, even though they've got Connor McGovern. I think that he has proven that he can play guard and he can move, and we can absolutely roll with that. We can have Mekhi Becton on the left side. We can have Connor McGovern push to left guard or right guard, and then we can have our center for the next decade in Creed Humphrey. And I think that's a really good opportunity for the New York Jets to improve. The one that I think is the most safe investment in the NFL draft probably goes to Wyatt Davis. This is a guy that doesn't need to transition. He's going to go right into left guard, and he's going to be rock solid from week one. And then he also offers that opportunity and the potential to be a 10-year starter for the New York Jets. Imagine Wyatt Davis lining up next to Mekhi Becton. What a ferocious left side that could be, and what an impact that could make on a quarterback who's coming in, whether, again, if it's Darnold trying to save his career, whether it's a Deshaun Watson now trying to lead the Jets to the playoffs, or whether it's a rookie quarterback like Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, trying to, establish themselves as quarterbacks in the National Football League. So there you have it. Those are my guys, my three players that I really love from this list. I would probably stay away from Landon Dickerson, unless he falls in the NFL draft. I think that could be a move that Joe Douglas is interested in making. We've seen that he's willing to swing for the fences in the NFL draft. So Landon Dickerson could be a guy that I would say keep an eye out for if he starts to slide in the NFL draft. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching NYJ Today. Guys, do me a big favor, and please, if you enjoyed this video, jet up the like button. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're going to be uploading a ton of draft profiles all the way up to the NFL draft. We will also be continuing our Wednesday live streams every single week, so stay tuned for those. We can't thank you enough for all the support. We really do enjoy interacting with you guys. And again, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know about the players that are in this video, whether it's Creed Humphrey, Jalen Mayfield, whether it's Elijah Vera-Tucker, Wyatt Davis, Landon Dickerson. Let me know how you guys rank these players. Let me know the offensive lineman that you want the Jets to pursue in the NFL draft. And again, let me know if you disagree or agree with any of the things that I said in this video. That's what this is all about. YouTube is all about interaction, and it is truly a social media platform. So let me know what you guys think. Go Jets, and I'll see you guys next time.